Okay, Ken, what is it that you're very excited about showing me?
Okay, just turn over to your left.
Oh my goodness, right, I think I know where we're going. I'm going to follow you.
Okay, so this was by Liz Frink, or Dame Elizabeth Frink as she was also known.
Liz Frink,
She was
yes.
the foremost female sculptress in Britain
Right.
in the 20th century.
Okay,
And this is, I think, one of the only mosaic works that Liz ever did.
really? So dating from roughly?
I think she probably did this in about 84, 86.
Okay,
And it's representative from Aesop's fables,
yeah,
going back to Greek times. So the original fable was that dolphins being friends of man,
yeah,
there was a pod of dolphins swimming through and they saw a ship sinking. And back in the day, of course, sailors couldn't swim. They couldn't swim properly until the 1920s.
that's right, yeah.
So the pod swam over to the drowning sailors and said, come on, you can all jump on our back. We'll take you to the shore. This particular dolphin turned around and noticed there was a monkey on its back,
Right,
hence the expression. And they weren't friends of monkeys, they were friends of man.
okay.
So it dived and drowned the monkey.
Right, okay.
But if
Nice
you-
dolphin.
But if you look at, because if you look at this, it's actually
Go on.
early on in the journey, because the dolphin is placid and smiling.
Yes, yes,
The monkey is standing arrogantly
yeah.
and a liar. And you can see it.
Yes, you can.
So Liz captured this at a particular point.
Right,
It's well documented that she made this entirely herself,
okay.
and she made it for Woolland House, and she had it in her swimming pool,
In the swimming pool?
in the base of the swimming pool.
Actually underwater?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
I worked with Liz from about 86 until just before her death.
Okay.
I think she died in 92 or 93.
Yeah.
She was young, 63 when she died.
Right, yeah.
63. I furnished the house with her.
Did you?
Woolland House.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I also sold her some sculptures.
Right, did
Which
you
was
really?
funny. But they were Balinese. So
I was
she
gonna say-
she was being experimental.
They must have been good.
They were fun. They were fun. She was a great fan of my then company Talisman,
Right,
which was
yeah.
based down in the West Country.
Yes.
She introduced a lot of people to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very close to her and Alex, her husband. Then I did the probate after her death for Lan, her son.
Yeah.
The house was then latterly sold, and the previous couple lived there for about 18 to 20 years.
Mm.
I was brought in to help them stage the house for selling.
Yeah.
Sadly, most of Liz's work had gone from the house and gardens.
Being sold off.
Been sold off over the years, had been sold off by the family, of
Yeah.
course. It should have been really looked after in a different way.
Yeah.
And they wanted to sell the mosaic. So I purchased the mosaic from them inside the swimming pool.
With water.
The pool was there. It was, yes, it was full initially, and of course you get then the wonderful reflections and the rippling of the water, so it makes
Yeah.
it even more alive.
Well, it magnifies it, I'm sure.
Well, I am thinking the way we've got it now to actually have water pouring over it.
Right.
The way that we've actually restored it, it can actually be reinstated into a swimming pool.
I see. So let me just see how it's constructed. What
We
is
had to
this?
remove it in 4 sections.
Did you?
And the concrete was probably about 8 to 10 inches thick
Right.
that we cut it out.
Yeah.
And then we sliced the concrete until we got it thin enough to
Wow.
apply it to this aluminium framework, which is then supported by a metal framework.
That is incredible.
And it now comes apart in 2 sections.
Right.
So from the point of view of transport or installation,
Yeah.
technically we know how to do it.
But so this was trial and error for you, because how many times have you dismantled a mosaic that size from the base of a swimming pool?
The guys that I used specialise in Roman mosaics.
You're kidding
No,
me.
of course they had to. I mean, it was too frightening
Goodness
and
me.
responsibility
Yeah.
of this. So, in point of fact, apart from the 4 seams, of which only one you can see now because it's now in 2 halves,
Right.
all the work there in colour is Liz's.
Okay, got you.
And if you look at the overall framework,
Yeah.
my beloved wife Karen thinks it's the form of a Medusa.
Oh, I
And
see.
it could be.
Okay, it could
Because
well
it is an
be.
unusual shape to have done.
My
And
goodness.
then, of course, if you look, you've got the bubbles coming and the
Yeah.
movement going through the water. As I say, it is well documented that Liz did this work, and strangely enough, it's probably one of her largest works.
Right.
Even though she's famous for horse and riders and
Yes.
life-size horses.
Yes.
I think this is bigger.
My goodness me. I mean, it is extraordinary, isn't it?
It's taken
And you-
3 years.
Really?
3 years to get it here, and you're the first person actually being allowed to put a camera anywhere near it.
Really? Well, I'm absolutely privileged.
Thank you.
Genuinely
Thank you.
privileged.
The idea at the moment is to look to an institution to purchase it.
Like, so you're talking a museum?
Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's
Well, there's two aspects to it. There is another fable
yeah.
which is undocumented, but it's certainly one I've heard in the past, which was this dolphin was swimming through the Mediterranean past the islands, and there was a barren island, and on the shore there was a monkey,
Right.
and the monkey was waving and asked
Yeah.
the dolphin to come to the shore,
Yeah.
and he said, I'm shipwrecked on this island,
Yeah.
and my home's over there, and I can't swim.
Right.
Could you take me there, please?
Right.
And the dolphin said, jump on my back.
Okay.
As they approached the other island, all the inhabitants ran to the shore and said, don't let that thief and blackguard on our island. And the dolphin turned to the monkey and said, you lied and dived.
Wow.
Now, if
Okay.
you put both of those in context,
Yeah.
in a public space,
Yeah.
and this is being viewed by children particularly,
Yeah.
and you get these stories, this brings this entirely to life.
It doesn't
So
it just?
it shouldn't really be owned privately, in my
No,
opinion.
no.
It should be publicly aware.
Yes, absolutely. And the tale it tells, I mean, of
a wonderful tale.
of morals, I
Yes,
suppose, isn't it?
yes.
And that was the whole idea. It
And
is.
also Liz previously in the late 50s, because she loved Aesop's fables.
Yeah.
And she actually illustrated a book on Aesop's fables.
Did she?
She was commissioned to do it. She was very pleased to do it. I think there was 250 copies made,
Right.
and I think something like 40 copies were signed by her. Of which, of course, I've got one.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I've got many, many items from Liz.
And
Letters and birthday cards. And
really, and you're very
books.
fortunate to have those, because she is an incredibly important artist
Oh.
from the 20th century,
Very much so.
British artist. Now you have a little catalogue there of some of her other works.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Um,
Now we do have to talk about values. You know we do. He's lovely. How
Well,
big is he?
this particular one. I would have thought. I mean, it's only about 40 inches wide.
Yeah.
It's got to be in excess of 300,000. It could be more now. I don't. Her market has changed dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years.
Is it shooting up?
Yes.
Up.
She wasn't as recognised as she should be.
Okay, so if the boar here is £300,000 and he's what? How big is he?
40 inches. or
40 inches.
Yes, 40 inches. I hadn't thought of it that way. Are we selling it by the inch?
I think we should, Ken, don't you? I mean, I know you're still
it's
working
very,
on it.
very early to
I know.
value.
I know, but I've got to push you on this because I know prices are going up, and
Yeah.
you could sell it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then in a month's time or in a year's time, it's worth substantially more. So
Yeah.
you have to choose the moment in selling it, and
And
how do you do
organisation
that?
to sell it to.
Yeah, it's quite complicated, the process.
Well, one of the areas that it would look wonderful would be at the Getty,
Well, wouldn't it just?
because it's
Yeah.
over the sea.
Yeah.
They already own 4 or 5 Frinks.
Well, come on.
The Getty itself, architecturally,
Yeah.
externally, would really be joyful for this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got, I don't know if it's millions of visitors.
Well, I'm
but
sure.
certainly
I'm sure.
it's got to be hundreds of thousands per annum. And again,
Yeah.
seeing this and that
Yeah.
story,
Yeah, yeah.
it makes it far more interesting than some kid looking at bronze that's 2,000 years old.
Yes,
I look at the bronze and understand it,
Yeah.
and love it.
Yeah,
But trying to get the children into it,
yeah.
maybe that's the way through.
Okay,
So if you're talking values, I mean, way in excess of $1 million.
really, way in excess.
I
It's
would
got
think
to be,
so.
hasn't it?
I've got to test the market.